Welcome to the SoberQ podcast.
PJ, alcoholic, sober today and sober since the 13th of March 2020. I have a step 2 topic question, which is how did we choose our own conception of God? Just a little bit of background on me. I was brought up in Scotland and I was brought up in a Christian household where my mum and my older sister and I used to go to Sunday school and church every week. And we had lots of activities that were centred around the church. And I think it was probably because my mum was Christian, but also we were brought up in a fairly crazy alcoholic household, my sister and I. So it gave us a bit of stability, got us out of the house, gave us a bit of community and, just gave us somewhere to go, somewhere to distract us. So that was pretty useful until I hit 13, and that was an interesting year. It was the first year that I picked up alcohol and drank alcoholically the first time. I rejected my stepfather and I also rejected my concept of God. So I was really going through a rebellious year that year. And I was a vicious atheist who used to shun people that had any form of faith. And, science, if it can't be proven, it doesn't exist. That scientific black and white mindset. So that was me. But then a couple of years later, I started exploring spirituality and the mediumship and, is there another spirit plane? And I just felt like there was something else greater than me out there, because no matter how hard life got, I've always been lucky. I've always felt like there's a presence, directing me or opening doors for me somehow. So, 1993, I was on a bit of a searching mission and eventually settled on Reiki, which is an energy healing modality. And, if you've never had Reiki, it's basically the person that's treating you is not directing the energy. They're making maybe the channel for it. So it's coming from somewhere else and it's being directed to where it's needed to. And I've absolutely seen the results of that, both in the people I've treated and in many different kinds of animals that I've treated. So I had absolute proof to myself that there was a power greater than me, and that would come in really handy when I got sober. Fast forward to about 4 years ago, I entered Al-Anon for a year. So I had the God induction and also the 12-step induction. So I was a fairly easy and willing candidate coming into AA because I'd read To the Agnostics, I'd read some of the big book, and I was desperate. I was absolutely desperate to stay sober and get sober, and was willing to try anything to do that. And I think when you are truly on your knees, you will try anything. So I basically switched the God word for the Reiki energy creators, masters as I call them, who sit in the sky and help me do that work. So it was pretty easy for me. But you can choose a tree, a big tree at the bottom of your garden or in the park that you like, the soil that you stand on, your home group, the sea, a mentor. It really does not matter. That what matters is it's something greater than yourself that you can believe in and that you can trust, who's got you. And that may evolve. Mine has evolved. The depth of my communication with my higher power has evolved, and my depth of belief in the higher power has evolved. So, it's keep an open mind and be willing to allow that evolution to happen. And I really hope that you find a concept of God that works for you and that you can rely upon on a daily basis and that brings you peace and keeps you sober. Thanks for letting me share.
If you would like to share your experience on a recovery question, visit the SoberQ podcast website at soberq.com. Thanks for listening.